And now, two guys that think they know Seattle sports and nobody questions them, Colton and Jared!
I'm Jared, and I'm here with the Sultan of Stats, Colton Swanson, and here we make up the Hawt Corner, the podcast for the Puyallup Post.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Colton, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Mariners today and the sports side of things. So let's get it started with some trades. Jerry DiPoto made, I think it was 11 trades during the whole offseason, and there was like the trade for like Paul Blackburn, he traded for Danny Valencia, Malik Smith, Ryan Yarborough for Drew Smiley, etc., etc. So let's highlight a few. Jared, what was your favorite trade from the trades he made this season? What stands out to you?
My favorite trade probably had to have been the big blockbuster one here, Taijuan Walker and Ketel Marte for Segura and Mitch Haniger. I was skeptical of getting rid of Taijuan Walker at first, but you know, Mitch Haniger, I feel like he's going to be real good for us. I'm more excited for Haniger than I am Segura.
Yeah, rest in peace to my Ketel Marte jersey. Yeah, I agree with you, Haniger. He's 30 home runs last year. Hit really well at 3 different levels in the minor leagues. Okay, so we got your favorite. What's your not favorite?
Seth Smith for Gallardo. I mean, rest in peace to Dad.
Yeah, can we have a moment of silence really quick for Seth Smith, please? All right, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Seth Smith for Gallardo. It's pretty sad. Why? What about that trade kind of stood out to you?
Seth Smith was he was a clubhouse favorite. He was a fan favorite, and he put up solid numbers. He wasn't the best player, but you knew what you were going to get on a consistent basis from Seth Smith. And Gallardo, I mean, he had a bad year, but I mean, he's playing with the Orioles, but I don't know. I feel like he might not be good because we always trade for a pitcher that he's gonna do better because he's coming to a pitcher's field, and then they just never do good. Like, yeah.
One of the last times I remember us trading an outfielder to the Orioles for a pitcher was Adam Jones. That clearly didn't work out in our favor, and I remember we got Eric Bedard in return, and you know what? He was hurt the whole time, so we don't really mention the Eric Bedard era in Seattle Mariners territory. Okay, as for me, I think my favorite trade is one that kind of goes under the radar. It was Alex Jackson for Rob Whalen and Max Posey. They're 2 young guys, and Alex Jackson, sure, he was our first-round draft pick a few years ago, but he took a lot of steps back, and I really don't think that he was going to necessarily be our future. Whalen and Posey, I think, like, for pitching staff-wise, our pitching staff's getting a little older. I mean, our 3 youngest guys, Smiley, Paxton, and Smiley and Paxton are both 28, and Felix is getting up there. He's 30. Iwakuma's 36. He's gonna be like dust here pretty soon. But Whalen's going into his age 23 season. Posey's going into his age 23 season. We have guys like Andrew Moore in the minor leagues. I think that with that crop of younger players, it's going to really affect how the future of the Mariners, especially the pitching staff, because Safeco's such a pitcher-friendly park. I think it's going to be very important for us to get guys like that, and I think that Jerry did a great job going out and getting those guys. My least favorite trade was probably the Danny Valencia trade. I really like Danny Valencia. I think he's probably going to be great for us playing first base. But Paul Blackburn was another young pitcher who I thought could have been part of that crop. And I think giving him up for just 1 year of Danny Valencia is kind of going to be iffy. Valencia will produce at first base in the corner outfield. He'll give Seager a day off at third occasionally, but I don't know if he's going to be that big of an impact to give up how many years he would have had a Blackburn. So I don't know. I mean, Jerry keeps us busy, but otherwise, I mean, I like the trades overall. How do you feel about the team overall going into 2017?
Definitely better than last season. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. I think we're gonna have the best infield, at least like third, short, second, defensively and possibly offensively as well. I think he's gonna continue with producing like he did last year. I don't think he'll drop off again. Hopefully Segura can get on base, and we can just rack up the rack up the runs, because that was a problem last year. Actually, last year we were better on offense, but trash at pitching more often than not. So hopefully now I like our rotation better this year already.
And I think that was a big focus of Jerry's too. I mean, last year we had guys like Joe Whelan come in because so many people got hurt, and I mean we went through a Wade Miley era, and that was awful. Iwakuma was good, but I mean he had a 4.12 ERA, which isn't necessarily sustainable. It's about league average. And he still had the highest WAR on our pitching staff. Felix has got to come back. Gallardo's got to come back. Smiley's got to come back. Paxton, if he can just keep doing what he was doing last year, maybe progress a little bit. He had a 3.79 ERA last year, but his strikeout rate was one of the highest on the staff at 8.7. So, I don't know. I think overall it's a really good pitching staff, and the depth is a lot better than it was last year, so we don't have to have guys like Joe Whelan pitch. Overall, I think he did a great job with the rotation, and as for, like you were saying, with the infield, I mean, if Vogelbach and Valencia can produce at even what they should, Vogelbach hit 250 with 10, 15 home runs, and Valencia in the 275, 280 area, I mean, it would be one of the best infields in baseball.
I just hope Vogelbach's not another Justin Smoke.
Don't say that.
I mean, one problem, though, I did notice with the rotation is we're betting on people to bounce back. We hope Felix to bounce back. We hope Paxton can bounce back, Smiley, Gallardo, all these people. If they don't bounce back, then we're in trouble. So this is kind of getting into the prediction side of things. But I'm betting Miranda is going to, by maybe after All-Star break or by the end of the season, Miranda's going to be one of our most consistent starters. He's going to work his way up and replace either Gallardo or someone.
I agree with you. I mean, going through the season, I mean, you're going to have injuries in the pitching staff. Felix last year with the hamstring. Paxton always has a problem with his fingernail. Iwakuma, he's, like I said, he's 36. I mean, Smiley and Gallardo last year with the shoulder problems. Miranda's bound to be in there at some point, even if it's just to make a spot start. Guys like Chris Heston and Whalen and Posey, they're bound to make a few starts. Miranda will probably be in the bullpen, so he'll be at the major league level the whole season, which will be good to see. But no, depth-wise, Jerry did a great job. Bounce backs. I mean, it's kind of scary. Bounce backs are always scary, but I like the idea of relying on guys who were very good at the peak of their performance. So, like guys like Smiley and Gallardo. So.
Yep. You want to talk a little about Sean Dyson, one of our most latest trades?
Yes, Gerard Dyson. He with the Royals. I remember one of the few games that I actually got to catch for when they were in the World Series was the game where he stole third base, and that was he was safe by half a step, and he's just one of the fastest guys in baseball. And honestly, I was a little worried about him. He seemed kind of like a cockier, kind of full of himself, oh, we won the World Series sort of guy. But when I was at FanFest last weekend, I met with him a few times, and he was very confident, and he's very sincere with himself, sincere with the fans. He's a Mississippi native. He loves his hometown. He loved it in Kansas City. He was a fan favorite. He's still very loyal to that city, and I think Mariners fans are going to get a nice surprise with him. I mean, he had 299 at-bats last year, which is a career high. But this year, it kind of sounds like, at least against right-handed pitching, he's going to be in there every day. Against lefties, we might get a Guillermo Heredia in there. But yeah, I think, he brings a winning pedigree. His quote was, "Wherever I go, the champagne flow." So that's generally a good sign. I'd like to see some champagne flowing in Safeco Field. Of course, not for the minors. Like us, we can't drink the champagne, but that's okay.
Not yet.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. Give it a few years. But yeah, Dyson with the Royals, I think he'll be good. I'm a little worried about the fact that he's going to take away at bats from Ben Gamel. Ben Gamel was slated to be the starting left fielder at the beginning of the offseason before we got Dyson, and Jerry said he wanted to give Gamel as many at-bats as possible, but now with Dyson here, Gamel's kind of sounds like he'll be like a fourth outfielder type guy, maybe a fifth outfielder. And Valencia also, if Dyson's going to be the everyday guy, isn't going to get many like at bats in the outfield, and he'll mainly be at first base and maybe right field when Haniger needs a day off or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, I like the Dyson move. I think it's a good move. Giving up Nate Carnes is hard. He was another guy who I thought was going to be a big part of the future crop of pitchers. So overall, I like the move. We'll have to see after the end of the season, or at least mid-season, kind of how it works out. But draw Dyson, I'll give that move a B, a solid B, right now.
The only thing I'm worried about with Dyson, he doesn't have a lot of at-bats. So he's produced over a small sample space. So I'm just worried that, if he's going to be our everyday outfielder, he's just going to struggle because he's not used to it. I mean, I'm thinking that maybe Ben Gamble can take over that position, and then if we make the playoffs somehow, he can be used as a situational like base stealer. He'll bunt, get on base, and then just steal his way through the bases. Like, who is that? Was that him on the Royals that just kept?
Yeah, it was. He stole second, he stole third, all in like the same at bat.
Like, if he can provide that for us, because we don't have a lot of people that can steal bases. Cano can't. He's too old. I don't think he ever even could. He tries. But hopefully Segura. I mean, we need more speed on the base path. So hopefully he can provide that at least.
Right. I mean, Dyson's 31. He has like 1,300 at bats total in his career, which is how much some players rack up in a total of 3 years. So I mean, it's worrisome, but he never really got a chance to shine out there, in Kansas City. So I think maybe, given the shot, he hit in 270. I think it was 278 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's worth a shot. I think that Gamble's going to be a great addition, but for now, if we're in win now mode, I think Dyson's probably the right move. A guy who's a little more proven than Gamble, who has the speed to make something happen on the base paths. So, all right, Vogelbach. Let's talk a little more about Vogelbach, just because I am a huge Vogelbach fan. I was sad we traded Mike Montgomery, but Daniel Vogelbach is the funniest, most cuddly little teddy bear that I have ever seen. There was a post on Twitter the other day where the Mariners van got stuck in the mud, and Aaron Goldsmith asked Vogelbach if he could pull it out, and Vogelbach asked for some chains, some spikes, and he said he might be able to make some progress. So, other than off the field, which we've seen great things from off the field, but on the field, how do you think things are going to play out there at first base?
I'm hoping Vogelbach can produce, because there's always the problem with, can he be adequate defensively? Because he had that problem when we tried to move DJ Peterson to first base, but he just couldn't do it. And so hopefully Vogelbach's not one of those prospects that can hit for power and are good, but they just can't provide defensively at first base, because Justin Smoke, how bad he was at offense. He was a solid first baseman defensively. He wasn't that bad. So I'm hoping Vogelbach can be finally that first baseman that we can slot every day. I mean, Danny Valencia, he's there for now, but he's a stopgap for now. Hopefully Vogelbach can come through, because I remember when we gave up Mike Montgomery, I was like, oh man, Monty was pretty filthy. I mean, he wasn't the best, but he wasn't bad. And then he came in and pitched for the Cubs in Game 7.
Gets the last out of the World Series.
Yep, and I was like, that's a Mariners player right there. Come on, of course. And so, I don't know, I'm excited for him though. I remember going to a couple Rainiers games, and he has some power. So
he's a big guy.
I mean, Mariners don't really need more power. We hit tons of home runs anyway, but you can never have enough power.
I think last year the combination of Deho and Adam Lind hit 35 home runs combined, and I think they hit 235 or something not so hot in the average department. Valencia and Vogelbach. First of all, I love what Jerry did getting Danny Valencia and Daniel Vogelbach, Danny V. Anyways, I love that whole idea, but I think home run wise, they're not going to hit 35. I don't think the two of them have as much power as Lind and Lee did, but I think that between the two of them, average wise, OBP wise, if you look at Vogelbach last year, I mean, in the minors, he had a 417 OBP, which is off the charts ridiculous. That's something you don't see in Major League Baseball unless you're a guy named Mike Trout. So I think if he can just take his walks, show his plate discipline a little bit, Valencia gets up there every day against whenever there's a lefty on the hill. Vogelbach will just hit against the righties. I think that'll be the whole platoon idea. I'm not a big fan of platoons, but I think it'll work out. But as for, we got a lot of young guys. Haniger in right field, Gamble, Heredia, Vogelbach. So it's kind of hard to tell. But if you look at it over the past couple years, when was the last time we had a good first baseman? Russell Branyan in 2010 or something like that, 2009. Richie Sexton, yeah. The last everyday first baseman we could slot in there was, Branyan when he wasn't having back spasms. Branyan was my favorite player, and then he, fell off the face of the planet. Tino Martinez,
oh, shoot.
I'll take back a Tino any day. All right, so veteran-wise, we have guys now. We got Chuch Ruiz, who we traded for Vidal Nuno for the in the Dodgers trade.
I was ecstatic to get rid of Vidal
Were
Nuno.
you?
Everyone says Vidal Nuno, so good, so good. Every time he pitched, he'd give up a lead. I hate Vidal Nuno. Hate him with a passion.
Hot takes. All right, well, that's, you know what? I agree with you 100%. I did not like Vidal Nuno. I was excited to get rid of him.
When we traded, when we traded for him, he was part of the Trumbo trade when we got Trumbo. Everyone, and I saw his stats, and I was like, oh, dang, Vidal Nuno might be underrated piece to add. And he made some starts for us last year, and I was like, he's just not that bad. And then more I got to watch him, I'm like, he's hot trash. So, I hated him. That should have been my favorite trade, actually. Just the fact that we got rid of Vidal Nuno. He poisoned our bullpen. Every time we had a lead, he'd come in and he'd blow it. Every time. Hated him.
It was we had the Joel Peralta. Think about it. We had Joel Peralta last year, who was awful. Gave up three leads in a matter of 3 days. Joaquin Benoit. Our bullpen, it can't be much worse. Diaz at closer, he seems like he's going to be a bona fide closer. I like Diaz. Cishek's going to start off the season on the DL, but as a setup man, he was very good last year. Closing, we don't need to talk about that, but setup, he was good. Altavilla, young guy who can pump 95 plus. Zepchinski is a good addition, good lefty. His ERA is a little high, but I think if we use him as a lefty specialist, we'll be fine. We got Shea Simmons in the trade for in the Malik Smith trade. Malik Smith and his hour in Seattle, that was nice. I don't know, the bullpen can't be as bad as it was last year, right?
Yeah, I think Evan Scribner's going to do good for us too. He produced, in his limited time, he did actually pitch for us when he wasn't hurt. But if he can stay healthy, I don't think he gave up even any runs last year when he pitched for us. So Evan Scribner's my guy to bounce back, or at least finally perform good in the bullpen, as he should. And then let me tell you a story about Steve Cishek. So when he started blowing all those leads, and I was driving to Wenatchee, and one of the passes you go over blew it pass. That's the Steve Cishek pass, because he blew it. He blows everything. Blew it pass, renamed to Steve Cishek. You heard it here first.
I don't know if the state of Washington will be okay with that, but we can see what we can do. We can start a petition. It'll be okay. Nick Vincent, I don't think was very good last year. I was honestly really upset about that. I was excited about that trade, and he had the 3.73 ERA last year, which is, out of the bullpen, not so good. You pitch 1 inning, maybe 2 at the most. You need to have everything going for you, and with how bullpens are starting to get used, look at the World Series and Andrew Miller coming in the 5th inning, or Chapman coming in for 3 innings. It's the bullpen is becoming more and more vital to making the playoffs and making a run at the World Series, and guys like Vincent and Cishek, they're gonna have to step up. And overall, I think that we have a good bullpen. It could be better. A lot of unproven guys in there, like Simmons and Altavilla and Diaz. Diaz worried me a little bit last year when he started towards the end there. He started to get tired, but it was the most games he'd ever pitched in his career. He was a starter last year. What can we say?
I think we overworked him towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I completely agree.
We threw him out there every time, every chance, and I think he just broke down. He needs to build up that stamina, and hopefully he can do it this year, because teams know they're going to be ready for him.
Right. All the video that's out there, he's got a devastating slider, but if he pumps 100 anywhere in the zone, you got to be swinging at it. So, Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Felix. And I know this is a touchy subject because Felix is the star of Seattle. Everyone loves Felix. He's been the face of the franchise, and he just flat out wasn't good last year. I mean, he had a career low in his strikeouts per nine and a career high in walks, and it just seemed like every outing he could not find the zone. And whether that was because he was hurt or he's just trying to reinvent himself, I don't know. But give me a little bit on Felix and kind of what you're thinking for him in 2017.
I feel like we wasted every single one of his good years. I think he's done as an ace in Seattle. I think Felix, oh man, I hope Felix proves me wrong, but I just can't see. He's 30. He's getting on the wrong side of 30. I mean, he's only 30, but I mean, he's pitched a lot. He's been with the Mariners organization since he was like 18, back in like 06 or something like that. And I just feel like we wasted all his good years. I mean, people see Felix and they expect the perfect game. They expect him to pitch all 9 innings and blank the side, and I just don't think that's him anymore. I mean, sure, he can do better. I feel like if he lowers his walks, and I mean, he had a 3.82 ERA last year. If he can lower that to like a 3, I'm not expecting anything I'm not expecting a sub 3 ERA this year. I just don't see it. He's breaking down. He's lost his velocity. Unless he I don't know what he can do to bounce back to. I mean, just 2 years ago he was crazy good, and now I want Felix to be good. I love Felix. I just don't see it happening.
Right. And I mean, looking at it, a 3.73 in retrospect isn't that bad.
But it's bad for Felix standards.
Right. And we've been so spoiled with how he's pitched over the past 10 years, and we kind of took it for granted a little bit, so that when he has an off year, it just looks, in our eyes, it's awful. And for some people, they'll still take Felix as number one. I mean, there are some teams out there. Let me think. The Brewers, who's their ace? I have no idea. I really don't know. Jimmy Nelson, I think. I don't know. I don't even know if he's still with the Brewers. But there are people that would still take Felix as a bona fide ace. But for the Mariners to be in contention next year, Felix and the entire pitching staff, with the outfield defense that we now have after the Dyson and Haniger trades, Felix and Iwakuma and all them, they have to take a step forward. Felix needs to figure out how to pitch and how he wants to throw his game. And, I mean, Iwakuma, I like Iwakuma. I do. I think he's kind of overrated. I do. I mean, people are like, he's a bona fide number 2. I mean, not many number 2s have a 4.12 ERA. Let's put it like that. And I guess looking at the rest of the AL West, I mean, the Rangers have Cole Hamels, Yu Darvish. They just signed Tyson Ross. It's I don't know if our rotation can keep up with that sort of idea. I mean, in the race in the West, I think that the Mariners pitching staff is probably second. I think they're behind Texas right now. I think if all those guys can bounce back, they can jump ahead of Texas, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, that's counting on a lot, all those bounce backs. Shoot, I was going to say something. Now I forgot it.
Okay, so division-wise, let's just talk about the division really quick. Prediction for the division? How do you think things are going to play out in the West?
Oakland's hot trash, as always. Hot trash. That trash can right there, that's where they belong. Billy Beane doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He's hot trash. And so they're at the bottom. And then it's just kind of, I mean, Angels see they're wasting Mike Trout's good years, just like Mariners wasted Felix's good years, because they dished out all this money to Albert Pujols, and Albert Pujols, all he does is hit a home run every couple games and jogs the first super slow. And
let's not forget they're still paying Josh Hamilton.
Oh yeah, Hamilton. Oh Lord, the Angels are a hot mess. And so Angels are probably there, and then it's just I'd say it's a 3-way. It's up for grabs. Houston, they're young, but I mean, they're like a wild card. They're either on or they're off, like last year. And then Texas, everyone expects Texas because they're made up of all the veterans and have that good pitching staff. But I think the Mariners might be able to sneak up there if everyone performs as they should, which never happens. But if everyone performs up to what they can and what they should, then maybe the Mariners can sneak up there. I'm hoping a wild card. I don't think we can outright win the division, but hopefully sneak in as like a second wild card, something like that.
I agree. I think second wild card, it'll be between like the Tigers and whoever doesn't win the AL East, between the Orioles and the Red Sox and the Yankees. I mean, I think the Red Sox are going to win the AL East, but the Yankees are going to be decent. They're young. They have a lot of good prospect guys. The Orioles, I mean, they re-signed Trumbo. I also have a Mariners Trumbo jersey. Jerry traded him away too. Thanks, Jerry. I don't know. I see the Mariners second wild card at best. I really do. I love the moves Jerry made, but I think everyone else has made better moves. Depth-wise, I think we have one of the best depth teams in all of baseball.
Agree.
But the product we're going to be putting on the field every day, I don't know if it's going to stack up against if you're playing the Red Sox. I mean, we don't play them that much, but you got Chris Sale coming at you. Then you got the Cy Young winner Rick Porcello, and then David Price, and then you got guys like Mookie Betts and Dustin Pedroia and Xander Bogaerts and JBJ out there. And I don't know, the Mariners, they don't have a good prospect. They don't have any good prospects that we could trade for a big name player, and I understand that. They say we don't have much money. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But like the free agent class of 2018 is going to be a big deal, and we have a lot of one-year guys like Valencia and Dyson, and guys are going to be gone. So maybe that's what Jerry's gearing up for, is going and signing, I don't know, anyone. Manny Machado. Go sign Manny Machado. Put him at shortstop. I don't care. Put him in right field for all I care. I don't know. I mean, overall, I see a second wild card. At the same time, I could easily see this team winning 87, 88 games and taking the division outright, depending on how the chips fall. So, I guess with that, let's go to our rapid fire section. We call this one Pepper. All right. So today I'm going to be asking Jared some questions, and Jared, I'm just going to shoot them at you, just rapid fire, no thinking. Here we go. You ready?
Born ready.
I don't think that's true, but okay. Most underrated player on the Mariners.
Mitch Haniger.
Why? I know I said rapid fire, but I'm interested in this answer. Why?
Well, most underrated just because people don't. We just traded for him, and well, not just, but we in the off season, so people don't really know who he is. But this man, you talk about Vogelback's OBP. Haniger had better by like 0.02, but it was still better. And so I mean, Haniger's just he was. I just feel like, in right field, it's just him. I mean, we have. I feel like Nelson Cruz is not going to play a single game in right field this year. He's done. He's DHing. So Haniger's going to have a lot of at bats. He's going to have a lot of time to produce, and I feel like he's just going to go off. I don't know. I just feel. I have the gut feeling. You always go with your gut, and Haniger.
I like that. I agree with you 100%. Okay. Player that's going to have the best year this year for the Mariners overall. Any player, pitcher, position player, don't care. MVP of the Mariners this coming year.
I'm going to just go with Kyle Seager because he's done it almost every year. Kyle Seager, he's man in third base, the Hawt Corner. And
name drop.
And ever since he got brought up, he's just been consistent. He's like always consistent. He's good for 25 homers and 80 to 90 RBIs a year. I mean, you can't top that. He never misses games, or he rarely ever misses games. He's a Gold Glover. Doesn't get the respect he deserves around the league. He's only been an All-Star like once, but I'd say he's probably top 3 third baseman in the league.
Top 3, huh?
And
all of baseball or just the American League?
Just the AL.
Okay.
And he just doesn't get the respect. I feel like this year, if the Mariners are doing good towards All-Star break, he'll finally get the recognition he deserves. But I'm feeling more people will get on base ahead of him, like Dyson, Segura, and he can knock in even more RBIs, and he'll still be solid defensively. And I'm just feeling Seager.
Last year,
I'm a Seager believer.
Yes, drop that name. The Hawt Corner, the Seager believer. I like it. Yeah, last year he was stuck on 99 RBIs for I think the last 3 games of the season, and he almost got it too, but he flew out to center field.
Yeah.
All right, biggest bust that's coming up this season, whether it be a trade that Jerry made, whoever you think maybe is not going to perform.
Oh man, biggest bust. Like, can it? I'm gonna go with Cruz.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with Cruz, just because he's 36, and the odds are that this guy Cruz hits 43 homers again. Really? Come on. I highly doubt it.
I said that last year, and you know what he did? He went and hit another 43 home runs.
Well, I'd like to see him do it again, but I don't know like the exact stats, but I feel when he was DHing, he did worse than when he was out in right field. So now that I think he's going to be DHing full time, hopefully, I just feel like he's not going to hit 43 home runs. I don't know what it is, but like I remember watching the games, and every time he was DHing, he just wouldn't perform as good. He's getting up there in age. He's on that contract. I feel like he's struggling. We might trade the man. I don't know. I'm going with Cruz because I'm seeing Cano keep going good, and I mean they're the two oldest. That's the only reason why I'm calling them out. But Cano, oh man, I don't even know if Cano can do 39 homers again. I mean, we hit all these home runs last year. Can we replicate it in our ballpark? Hopefully.
Remember, that's Jared Leingang, not Colton Swanson. J Leingang at pierce.ctc.edu if you want to send him hate mail.
Please.
Okay, a few more questions. So we lost Gary Seth Smith, a.k.a. Dad. Okay. Yeah, I know how you feel. Okay, so if we think about it, he was a fan favorite in right field. Everyone loved him. He strapped his kids every day into the backseat of their car. He tucked them in. He probably read them bedtime stories. Who is going to take over that role as a fan favorite that is basically not necessarily a dad, but someone who we kind of poke fun at, but is a fan favorite?
I mean, he was already fan favorite last year, Sean O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley, okay.
Sean O'Malley, I remember just every time coming up to bat, O'Malley! I mean, he's a local kid. He's not the best player. He's a good utility guy. He reminds me of Willie Bloomquist, my man. So O'Malley, he won us a couple games last year, didn't he? Some walk-offs or something like that. He was clutch. And so he might not get as much playing time this year, but every time he comes up to bat, he's going to be the dude that everyone's going to be like, O'Malley, get excited about. And so I'm going with Sean O'Malley.
Okay. And last question. If you could have any player's body on the Seattle Mariners, whose body would you have? Best shower body.
Oh, snap. Mike Zunino.
Ooh,
Mike Zunino.
Really?
He's a catcher. You see his legs. This guy hits leg day. I mean, Zunino's thighs are like my whole body. Like, there's something about him. Like, I don't know, Zunino, I mean, catchers put in a lot of work. And I feel like he's probably been hitting the gym. He's probably got a nice bod.
Sneaky jacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's a power dude, so he can hit it out of the yard. Mike Zunino.
Okay, a Mike Zunino body on... But you keep the face, though. You keep your face.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't like it. Okay.
It's a weird question.
All right, I think we're getting ready here to probably start wrapping things up. So I guess any final thoughts, Mariners-wise, MLB-wise, anything of that sort?
No one can beat the Cubs. I just end the season before we start it. Just skip to the playoffs, and the Cubs are going to win it again.
Okay, that's your final thought?
It's going to be Mariners versus the Cubs. You heard her here first.
Mariners versus Cubs. I want to see, personally, Mariners versus Nationals. Just because those are the only two teams, how convenient, the two Washington teams, D.C. and State, that have never made it to the World Series, face off against each other 2017. I think that would be a top World Series. I'd go. I'd mortgage my parents' house. I can't do that, but I'd make them mortgage their house. And I think that'd be a good series. So, well, thank you guys for listening to our first ever podcast here at the Hawt Corner. I'm Colton Swanson.
And I'm Jared Leingang.
And we'll talk to you soon.